It's Behind the Remix with DJ Mike Lowry, and this is media music related, so I want to talk about it. I think it poses for a good conversation. All right, so a lot of people are talking about the Breakfast Club going to Netflix. A lot of people are saying, I don't listen to radio shows or podcasts on Netflix, and what sense does that make? Before I get to this, I want to tell you to follow, which I have tagged to this. Follow my CLN Universe page because it's going to be a ball of media docu series, a lot of dope stuff on there. Stand ups, it's going to be a lot of dope stuff. But in relation to this particular subject with the Breakfast Club going to Netflix, this is one thing that I would say consider. It may not change your mind, but being the type of person that's a trailblazer and goes the opposite way that everybody else goes, sometimes you just have to see it amongst people even talking bad about it, right? And I don't know if this is going to go good or bad. This is not my business decision to speak on in that regard. But this is what I'll say. Look at it from this perspective. Maybe you don't listen to podcasts or radio on Netflix because it's not your norm today. Maybe it'll become the norm the more that people listen to it. Because we all know I can talk my friends into things that random people can't talk them into, right? Especially when certain conversations you want to see and they're only available on Netflix and they make them exclusive to that. There are people that are going to go and eventually it's going to become a norm. Now, I'm not saying this to say that for sure this is going to happen. This is what could happen, you know. So it reminds me of those of us that are independent. So when we put our music out on platforms that's not Tidal, Apple, Spotify, the familiar platforms that you all consume music, now you got to go over here to listen to just this one artist and all the rest of your music is somewhere else. Well, eventually there's going to come a time where some of these other platforms are going to rise. And as we see now with Bandcamp, a lot of people had their stuff on Bandcamp, right? And in the beginning, it was like, nah, we listen to music over here on Apple. Like, okay. So the business deal may not necessarily be bad in that regard when you look at it from that perspective. Um, Here's something to consider too. When you're listening to a podcast, sometimes, and some people, this is not for everybody, you just have, sometimes I'll put a podcast on and I'm just cleaning the house. It's just playing. I'm not even paying attention. So at the end of the day, what difference do I really care that it's on Netflix or not? Especially if you already got a Netflix and you already listen to the Breakfast Club. It's one of them things when people say this is funny out loud. But they shouldn't do that. They did though. And I even say it sometimes. They shouldn't do that, right? But this is what happened, right? So I'm looking at it from that perspective. I have no idea what the numbers are going to do and any of that. But being a trailblazer, I definitely could see this working, right? All it does is take time. Anything, think about the wackest records you've ever heard that you thought was whack. Some of them were still successful records. You know what I mean? So if it go, it go, right? So I'm not here to speak bad on it, but I see a lot of comments like, why would they do that? That's why they would do that, because they playing the long game. And it may not work right now the way that you hear it or other people hear it, but it might work in the future. Let me know what your comments are in the comments. Let me know what you have to say in the comments. I didn't mean to say that twice. I am not arguing with any of y'all. So if you disagree strongly, that is how you feel. And I'm not trying to take that away from you. I just want to provide a different option on my platform. All right. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. It's DJ Mike Lowry's Behind the Remix. Let's talk about it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, like, share if you haven't done any of that. I'm not editing any of my mess ups. I'm keeping them. Let's get it. Be taking too much time to do all this content and then be editing it and breaking it down. Nah, I'm good. I ain't perfect. I'm cool with saying that. Y'all have a dope day.